I'm Meg.
And we are
Wait a minute.
Ray Mag?
My Meg?
Ray Mag?
Is this real life?
I don't know. This is so weird. Hi, today we are talking crossover books, and that is why we've swapped places, because I'm going to talk about adult books and Meg is going to talk about teen books.
Yeah.
But when she's talking about teen books, they're books that are great for adults, and when I'm talking about adult books, they're books that are great for teens. Do you got that?
There'll be a quiz later.
What do you have for our adult readers that take our teen books?
I'm so excited about the teen books.
I'm so excited too.
I am going to start off with John Green, who I'm an absolute fan of. He's a Hoosier, and which is nice. And one of my favorites of his is Looking for Alaska. And it's kind of a book that if I try to explain it, I'm going to give away too much. So I will just say that this is a very progressive, modern, lit book in a way, I guess. I don't know
I would
how you
say,
would classify, but it is modern, and it's really fascinating. And I have recommended this book to some older ladies, and I've even gave this book to my mother's book club as well to read, and they really enjoyed it. So not only can teens enjoy it and relate to it, but also adults can relate to it as well, which I find a good medium.
and I would say it deals with a before and an after.
Yes.
And the consequences of
Yes.
this one event.
And a time, there's a
timeline.
a time,
Countdown.
thank you, a timeline that's in the book, and it's fascinating. It's a fascinating read.
And it keeps you on the edge of your seat. When
It
you're,
does.
2 months before, 8 days before, 1 day before. It's like, what's going to happen? And then you find out.
And this was one of the first John Green books. Looking for Alaska was my first one, and then I read An Abundance of Catherine's. And it's snarky, and it's wonderful, and it's basically just what it sounds like. It's a guy, and he's dating a lot of girls, and it's high school life, it's teen life, but I know the humor and the wit in it. Any of you adults would enjoy it. John Green does a great job in writing his books to where not only can our youth enjoy it, but our adults can enjoy it, because he combines the two levels and very well in his stories. And he's just a fabulous writer, and I absolutely love him. And this got a Prince Award.
Oh, so did Looking for Alaska.
Yes. And next to the other one also won a Prince Award, but this is Monster by Walter Dean Myers, and I really enjoyed this book. It's a deep book, so John Green isn't fluffy, but he's lighthearted, and it's a very good read. But this is quite different. This is a good book, especially that talks about diversity, and don't judge a cover, basically, by what it looks like. And the whole book is in like a movie script of the main character being in jail and what he's going through in his trials. And the way that it's written, since it's kind of in script, you get to play along as well. So you get to decide if he's guilty or innocent. And it's brilliantly written, and I would recommend this even for adults to read, because it doesn't only help youth learn diversity and challenges and how you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but it also has the same lessons for adults. So I'd highly recommend this. And Lois Lowry, I'm in love. And read The Giver and I fell in love. There were some people who liked it and didn't like it. It was one of those books I remember reading, but I read it in school. And so this is for the adults who are in my age range who read The Giver but didn't know that it was meant to be in a series. This is the 4th book, am I right?
4th, yes.
Yes, this is the 4th book, and I could have shown you The Giver, but this just shows that this fabulous piece of work was meant to be in a series, and I highly recommend all of you adults who fell in love with The Giver to give this series a chance, because it goes deeper into the story and it's fabulous.
And book 4 is the conclusion of the series,
Yes.
and it just came out
I'm
within
in
the
love.
last couple months, so
I love. I heard it.
you heard it.
I do.
I love that you heard it.
And I just read this.
It's a happy book.
It's
It makes
a
me
happy
so
book.
happy.
Next, I'm going to be reviewing Angus Thongs in Full Frontal Snogging, which is fabulous. It's about a teenage girl who's British, so you get a lot of the British wit, the British language, which is fun to read.
So fun.
She has a sibling who's not quite potty trained and likes to pee on her bed in random spots around the house. She has funny neighbors, or at least she thinks are funny. She writes about them. A crazy uncle and
The cat.
the cat Angus. There's plenty of teenage romance in this book, of course, because she's young. And you read the book, and then your mom
Yes,
read
she did.
it.
And she thought it was also hilarious. So we ended up reading, this was a few years ago, so we ended up reading like 6 or 7 of them up until we ran out. No, but it is a big series, so
And so
It's
if
so
Rachel's
fun.
mom can love it,
so can you.
so can you. And I highly recommend checking this out.
Plus, I read it when I was in my 20s, so it wasn't like I was like 15 when I read it.
Yeah, true. This is an interesting one.
Space romance?
Yeah. This is Across the Universe, and no, it's not the movie. It's take what you know of Across the Universe, the movie.
No
it's not
Beatles,
Beatles.
no
No
Beatles
Beatles. Yeah. This is, yeah, it's sci-fi, fantasy, in another world. Only you're in a spaceship, and
As one does.
they fall in love. I mean, why wouldn't you? If you're in a spaceship, wouldn't you want to fall in love?
Well, especially if you're in there for a while, you might get bored.
Fueled by lies. Ooh. No, I enjoyed this though. I enjoyed it. It's been a while since I've read it, and but if you like science fiction, traveling through space, going into new worlds, and having complex characters. There are 2 protagonists, Elder and Amy. It's very interesting of how their lives combine, and they start a romance, and there's other little things inside that I won't give away. But it was a fun read. It was a fun read, and I don't know if I would read it again, but it's a good crossover, because I think it doesn't. You know that they're teenagers, but I think anyone could have this story in space.
And there are 2 books in the series that are available right now.
Anyone could fall in love with space. I mean,
It's true.
anyone. My last 2 are quite different, but they are in a crazy world. The Hunger Games.
If you haven't
all
read
of
it,
you know
what
about.
rock have you been hiding
And
in?
if you don't know about it, then you've probably been hidden under a rock. I don't
Yes.
know, but I'm saying
Are
the
you a
Hunger
hermit?
Games. Yeah, are you a hermit? Hunger Games was sort of like Twilight. They're meant for teenagers, but a lot of adults have started to get on the bandwagon. And Hunger Games is like that. It was written a while back for the teenagers. It's post-apocalyptic, and it's survival of the fittest, sort of teenagers versus, well, humans versus humans, and it's battles, and there's a little bit of romance in there. And so this is a good book that if you do like those altered worlds, post-apocalyptic, dystopian, all of that, you would really enjoy this.
And a clue to what this story is about, if you hadn't heard already, the author was inspired when she was flipping channels and went through, on one channel was a reality show, and on another channel it was about the Romans and Roman gladiators and all of that business. So
she combined the two.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, to get the Hunger Games out of that. And there's three. There's the Hunger Games, there's Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. And they're fabulous, and they're easy reads. They're very fast. They're not beefy, so I would highly check it out. And you can see what your teens are reading as well. This one I enjoyed so much. The Book of Blood and Shadow. And this is about a girl named Nora, who, by the way, goes to Prague. And that is one place I want to go to so bad, is to Prague. But basically, I guess it's safe to say she falls in love with this guy, but everyone doesn't like him, and apparently he's a murderer. And so to go out and prove them wrong, she goes to Prague and she finds all these secrets and secret societies, and it's basically like if you love Dan Brown and love Angels and Demons, The Da Vinci Code, you will like this book. And isn't it the Luminous Day or Loomis Day is one of those documents that has a lot of secrets into it. It's a code, and
it's never been broken.
And it's never been broken, but she has the key to break it.
Yes. So the actual code that she has to break is real.
Yes.
Her breaking it, fiction.
Yes. But it's really, really cool, and she goes to Prague and all these different places, and it's really interesting. And so there is a little bit of love, but it's mostly of adventure and trying to break this code.
Mystery, thriller, suspense. It's got it all.
Yes, Nora's very cool.
And I love any book that goes into a foreign city.
I do too, especially Prague. I want to go to Prague. But those are my books that I've reviewed, and just to be honest, adults, these aren't the only fabulous crossovers. There's tons more. So I would highly recommend that you come into our library, or to any of your libraries if you're outside of Mooresville, and go into their YA section and just look around and browse, because I think you'd be surprised on what's out there.
And if you are curious and want to know more about what to pick, you don't know where to start, ask your local librarian. They'll be happy to help.
Yes.
Like me.
Yes. And I think teens can sometimes be afraid to go into the adult section. Like, that's, at least when I was a teen, that was like the no-no section.
And
even though I
really
ventured into it sometimes because I wanted to read the classics, I would go into the adult section, but it's always been that place where it's kind of like that's no man's land for a child or a youth. And
for the adults, they might feel the same way, like, oh, I'm not supposed to go in there. It's the teen section. No.
Yeah. Come in. We accept you.
We love you. We want you to read our books. They're magical.
They are magical. Well, one of them is.
Yeah. Well, several.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all I have.
Yes. And next week we are going to talk about books in the new year and all of the books we're really excited about.
And we're going to celebrate your birthday, right?
Are we? I don't know. I do. That's not necessary. We'll just talk about books in the new year. Okay. 2013 is going to be epic.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.